Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Monday, October 30th, 2017. I am Dave Biddle, and I'm very happy to be joined by Steve Helwagen. Steve, a comeback for the ages for the Buckeyes. In my opinion, the best comeback in Ohio State history, considering what was on the line. I mean, there have been bigger comebacks points-wise, Minnesota in 1989. I really don't think the 1989 Ohio State team was in the hunt for the national championship, but that was a great comeback. Previous year against LSU, 1988, something about Greg Frye comebacks. That was a great comeback against LSU in 88. There's been other ones. 84 was a great comeback against Illinois. They actually had something on the line then. They were down 24-0, Ohio State was, and they came back. That was a team that went to the Rose Bowl. There's been Michigan comebacks. There's been other comebacks, but man, Steve, at one point, ESPN does their win probability thing. At one point, Ohio State had a 2% win probability, and they were able to come back and get it done. They beat Penn State 39-38. Just your thoughts 2 days later. I'm still amazed.
Yeah, I think we spent all day yesterday, I think, watching the replays and game that we had DVR'd and everything else. I mean, to go back through it with a fine-tooth comb and just see everything, all the twists and turns and everything that happened. It just seemed for the longest time that they were snake bit and that, you're down 21-3 early in the second quarter, and you're like, well, there's still a lot of football left to be played. But at that point, Penn State was just making all kinds of plays, and Ohio State had a turnover that led they had 2 touchdown drives on here, Dave, as I'm looking at it, in the first half of 23 yards each. Ohio State just gave them opportunities. The first one was the Campbell turnover. The second one was the 80-yard or 79-yard kick return by the guy not named Saquon Barkley. And, of course, you had the Barkley 97-yard kickoff return. So all those plays contributed to a situation where OSU was behind 28-10 in the middle of the second quarter. You've given them 3 touchdowns that they didn't earn. From scrimmage, if you follow what I'm saying. So, I just think that they just had to get their stuff together. They got it down to 20-17 at halftime, and then and then more disaster. You have an interception that's ruled on the field, an interception, and then they go to replay, and not only is it not an interception anymore, Dave, but it's also a Penn State touchdown. So, you talk about a swing. Right there it went to 35-20, but and that was what it was at the start of the fourth quarter. But then we saw from J.T. Barrett and Ohio State probably one of the best fourth quarters in college football that you're going to ever see. That was lights out. But about the only thing you could say that they didn't do in the fourth quarter was convert those two-point conversions, but that didn't matter. The 19 points were all they needed. And as I understand it, Barrett completed all 13 of his passes in the fourth quarter, plus his last 3 from the third quarter. So he goes into the Iowa game next week with 16 straight completions, which is an OSU single-game record and also a record over 2 games. So we'll see how far. If he comes out and hits his 8 passes, he's going to establish what is ever going to break at Ohio State. And this guy, Bill Price, I put up an interview with him. He has started 49 games, and his next start will be number 50, and we'll tie him with Luke Fickell for the OSU record for consecutive games started. And his 5 in those 49 games, and 9 of the wins have been against top 10 teams. That's about JT and his legacy and everything. There's at least one other guy whose legacy is even, his name is Billy Price. It's just been, for these guys, be the last great part of their legacy, or they'll add to it by beating Michigan or Wisconsin and get into the playoff or whatever. It remains to be seen. But right now, you just have to appreciate what those two guys and the seniors in general, I mean, you think about guys like Worley who were out there making plays. He batted away a pass at the end. And, man, it was a total team effort. I'll just say that.
It was amazing, and I'm glad you touched on J.T. Barrett, and I'm sorry, we're having a little trouble with the connection here, but Steve, you came in clear at the end there. J.T. Barrett, I mean, talk about silencing your critics. I mean, this is probably the best game I can remember from an Ohio State quarterback in a marquee game. Like,
ever.
He played as well as you could play. Right, I mean, I can't think of a better game from an Ohio State quarterback in a big game. I mean, you went through some of the stats. I mean, the fact that he finishes the game with 16 straight completions, I mean, the guy was in the zone and then some, making tough passes, and a lot of credit goes to Kevin Wilson, Ryan Day, and Urban Meyer for the scheme that they put around him. But J.T. Barrett was making tough throws, finishes 33 of 39, and he had a couple drops, or he would have been 35 of 39. Finishes 33 of 39 for 328 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Leads both teams in rushing. You know, the great Saquon Barkley had 21 carries for 44 yards. J.T. Barrett, 17 carries for 95 yards. He just kind of threw those in. There's 95 rushing yards, game-high rushing yards. Just kind of threw those in for good measure. I mean, Steve, he's gone from, can J.T. Barrett win a big game to, is J.T. Barrett about ready to win the Heisman Trophy? I mean, it's just amazing to me.
I agree. I think that this is a game that will help his cause, certainly. And, of course, he's got some more marquee games out there. I mean, you talk about, here's Iowa. They're 5-3. That's this week. Michigan State would be, 6-2. And it's kind of an elimination game between them and Penn State this week, whatever small hope they have after Ohio State beat Penn State. But I suppose if Michigan State won that game and then beat Ohio State, they'd be in the driver's seat. But, I don't know. I don't foresee that happening. I just don't know, what's gonna transpire here down the stretch. But to me, he has put himself in position, certainly, to be considered for the Heisman Trophy, which would be a lot of fun. I know that all he and Urban Meyer seem to be caring about right now is winning these games. If you get a chance, check out what JT said. Ohio State Football, their official Twitter, put out a video of what he said after the game, and he even in his greatest moment, he's teaching the young kids that, hey, this isn't just about football. This applies to your life. That when things may not seem like they're going to go your way or whatever, that you can still persevere and get through it. And I mean, how poignant is that? I mean, this kid, think about all the crap that the people have given him, for the different games that they didn't win or whatever, and things that have happened here the last couple of seasons. And he's been vindicated completely. I mean, they are going to Indianapolis, barring some kind of disaster. They're going to the Big Ten championship game, and if they can win that game, well, they're going to the playoffs. So that was what you set out to start the season to do. Did you lose to Oklahoma in the middle? Yeah. Who cares? It's all right there in front of you. Complete control of their destiny right now.
And I mentioned earlier that to me, this is the best comeback. I'm not trying to be Jack Park here, but this has to be the best comeback in Ohio State history when you consider what was on the line, how bleak it looked, the revenge factor of Penn State beating them last year. Penn State really would have taken the mantle as the big boy in the Big Ten, which would have been hard to swallow, and then some. I mean, I guess we'd have to do a little bit more research than just off the top of our head. But to me, Steve, it's going to be tough sledding to find a better comeback in Ohio State football history than the one we saw 2 nights ago.
Yeah, in terms of what the game meant and what was at stake, and to be down 18 points, which is more than 17. That's 8 and 8. Two 8-point touchdowns and a field goal, I suppose, would have got it. But in most people's thinking, it's a 3-touchdown lead when you're up 18. And so, and that's what Ohio State had to overcome because they didn't get the 2-point conversions. They had to score 3 touchdowns, as it turned out. And, excuse me, that was what was impressive to me, was just the way that, go back and watch the last 10 minutes of the game. I think they turned it over on a fumble with, what was it? Let me see here. It's all running together. Right before they blocked the punt, obviously.
Yeah, really early in the fourth quarter on that handoff. That's the only thing that, other than the 2-point conversions, that's like the only thing that didn't go right for them in the fourth quarter. They botched the handoff with, and then defense, like they always do. The silver bullets were just lights out good. Yeah, silver bullets were lights out good. I mean, they were. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was 13-13 to go in the game, and then Ward blocked the punt at 11:39, and they took over on the 41-yard line. It took 2 plays. He threw down the middle to Johnny Dixon for the 38-yard touchdown. He was wide open. Where was this vaunted Penn State number 1 in the nation passing efficiency defense? Because I didn't see that. Did I miss a meeting? I'll tell you what. The one safety, Oaks, I think was his name, OCHS. He played one hell of a game. I thought he was everywhere. Tyler Oaks? Is that his name? No, Troy Apke, that's his name. I got him confused with somebody else. Troy Apke, I thought he had a heck of a game, 28 for them, and Marcus Allen led them in tackles with 10. But yeah, as you keep going, I mean, Penn State did drive for a field goal. It was 3rd and goal at the 3-yard line, and Saquon Barkley went up the middle. Robert Landers got off the block and stopped him for a 3-yard loss, and they had to kick a field goal. I mean, imagine if they score a touchdown there, and now they're up, it would have been 42-27 had they scored there, and that was with 5:37 to go is when Ohio State gets the ball back, so you would have had to score, I mean, it would have been a rough thing. They drove down, they scored with the fade pass to Johnny Dixon. What a great throw that was, 10 yards, and the defense came out and slammed the car door basically on Penn State's head. That's the analogy I like to use a lot of times. When you just dominate somebody. First play, Sam Hubbard tackled both Barkley and McSorley. That goes on the pile with the Joey Bosa blocking back into Christian Hackenberg and chopping him down like an apple tree. I mean, that was as impressive a individual play, and I want to give Jalen Holmes a shout there because he got off his block too and was there within a split second as well. We've got this photo gallery I put up. I worked on it yesterday, Dave, for the better part of 3 or 4 hours, and between we have access to USA Today, Getty, and of course our own Gary House too, and I even took a few pictures before the game. All the stuff we have there is just kind of a great chronicling, I think, of everything. You get different angles of a lot of these key plays that just kind of put it all in the context of who was in the right position and who made the plays. And then, after that, they threw to Marcus Baugh for the touchdown. I think one thing that people, unsung heroes of this game, KJ Hill, 12 catches but didn't get in the end zone, 12 for 102. Austin Mack, 6 for 90. Those two guys helped them win the game. I mean, they're making all the plays to put them in position. Marcus Baugh is, the toast of the coast now after the winning touchdown. And then, obviously, the last series, they squibbed the kick. Penn State's got it to 41. You're thinking, oh, God, they only need 30. Of course, their kicking game's not any good, but they would have needed about 40 yards to get in field position. And first play, Chris Worley batted the pass away. Then McSorley was sacked by Jalen Holmes. The third down play to Gesicki, I'm not sure anybody broke that up. I think he was just high and wide on those last. He was under duress. I know that. I think Nick Bosa was pressuring him on the third down play. The fourth down play, it's 4th and 15. He just threw it up for grabs and was nowhere near Jawan Johnson. And it was party time in Columbus, Ohio, Dave. The party started early in the evening and it continued unabated until the very wee hours of the morning. So yeah, it was, man, I don't even know what to say. You put it on the pile with so many other classic games at the Horseshoe.
Yeah, it was amazing. One more thing before I let you go, I do want to touch on the offensive line. And like I said earlier, a lot of credit goes out to the Silver Bullets too. We're talking a lot about the offense and the defense played great. And Sam Hubbard had, as you said, mentioned the marquee play. Like they do the zone read. Oh, I'm just going to tackle both of you. That was a great play. And he did. It was
okay,
very
he's got it.
reminiscent
I don't know.
I'll
I'll just tackle you both.
That's right. That's right. Just like you mentioned, it's like Joey Bosa's like walk-off sack against Hackenberg when he just drills the running back like right back into Hackenberg. That was just fantastic.
I think
go ahead.
Barkley. Let me throw that on Barkley just real quick. I mean, and Urban Meyer was astute enough to see that his line said he had a long run of 36. So on the other 20 carries, he netted 8 yards. I mean, and he's down here as losing 36 yards. By the end of the game, when he hears the play call and realizes it's coming to him, he's got to be like, are you freaking kidding me? You're going to give me the ball again. And he was basically crawling into the fetal position, it seemed like at times, just trying to protect the football because the Buckeyes were coming off their blocks with reckless abandon. I know Penn State lost an offensive lineman he got rolled up on, and that really hurt them as the game wore on. McSorley was only sacked twice, but Ohio State had constant pressure, and I think they're going to put up in the spring those two last possessions by Penn State will be a clinic, for coaches to say this is how a defensive line is supposed to perform. The team as a whole, Dave, hit a gear that we haven't seen since 2014. That's my opinion. They hit a gear that we have not seen to where they just dominated the game in the final 15 minutes.
And the offensive line, I mean, Isaiah Prince, I saw, that our partners, Pro Football Focus, they do a great job. We're now partners with them with their college site, and they look at every little thing, and they rate these players, and they give them grades. Isaiah Prince had the highest grade. I'm assuming J.T. Barrett does not count, but I read he had the highest grade of any offensive player for Ohio State. I mean, Isaiah Prince, I won't say he lost the Penn State game for him last year because they were equal opportunity offenders there in the second half with special teams and everything else went wrong last year. But, Steve, I said over and over again I thought Isaiah Prince was the worst starting offensive lineman that I'd seen at Ohio State, in my time covering the team. And that wasn't his fault that he was out there. They thought he was the best guy at right tackle. But I tell you what, kudos to him. He shut up a lot of people like me, all of his critics. The guy, he's not just playing well. As I said, you got Pro Football Focus saying he graded out higher than anybody on the offense, I'm assuming, again, other than J.T. Barrett. Just your thoughts on the way that big Isaiah Prince is playing as a junior.
Yeah, I think there were some rough moments for the offensive line with some false starts here and there. I think Demetrius Knox had a holding penalty, and they may have pulled him out of the game for a little bit. I don't know if he was banged up or whatever, but I think Burrell went in for him a little bit. But, yeah, Prince did a great job, I thought. Penn State's defensive line, their front seven, is very good. I didn't hear Cabinda's name mentioned a whole lot. They did have 2 sacks in the game, but that was it. JT did a great job feeling the heat, getting out of there. And he scrambled for yardage at times. That was really good. I just think Ohio State's tempo by the end really put really kind of wore them down. And, if you don't rotate players against that tempo, you get into an 8-play drive or whatever, and they are running the plays faster than you can get lined up and faster than you can catch your breath. And I think that was a big factor for Ohio State. The way that they were able to dominate at the end, to me was just impressive. And I give Prince a lot of credit. I think there'll be a lot of people grading a winning performance after this. If your special teams wasn't such a disaster. I mean, Chris Hummer, who was in there for 24/7, our national guy, said in his mind Ohio State outplayed Penn State 6 ways from Tuesday. That's my expression, not what he said. And you look at the numbers, 529 to 283. Yeah, they really did.
Great insights, as always, out of Steve Helwagen. Thank you very much, my friend. Programming note, we will interview Urban Meyer here in just a few hours, 11:45 a.m. We'll be speaking with Coach Meyer today, so keep it locked to Bucknuts. We'll also be doing our Lunch Buck segment, Facebook Live. That'll be around probably 1:15, 1:30 from our restaurant to be determined. So keep it locked to Bucknuts today for Coach Meyer's press conference, everything after that, as well as Lunch Bucks. Thanks again to Steve Helwagen, and thanks to all the listeners out there for tuning in to the show. I appreciate it, and hope you have a great day. Let's hear that Buckeye swag, best damn band in the land.